Kelly
How you
Miller.
doing?
I'm excited. What
Are you?
a week. I
You
mean,
know,
like
I'm exhausted and it's only Monday. Like
it,
like
it's
I'm
it's
overstimulated on the week already and
it
it's only Monday.
it's and if we look at even as you know in time in motion, there's been a lot of things even happening even as of late, and
I
I'm like, what? Oh, now listen. Oh, hi, our little friend. Hi, Lord.
Hi
How you,
Lourdes.
sweetie? Yay! I just love her. She's got an intoxicating smile. Thomas Cardo's in the house. Our buddy Robin.
Hi
Yes,
Robin.
yes,
Mhm.
yes. All sorts of great. Three amazing people. We haven't even got the show started. We got
I
three
know.
people that we love, and I mean true rock star friends of ours. So a couple of things, three things we'll go over. You, Kelly, what do you think? Three? Can we do
I
three?
guess
Okay,
so.
let's. Okay, here we
I
go.
think I'm prepared. I don't even know at this point, so we'll see.
Oh, well, here we go. So, one of them,
Okay.
folks, as most
Okay.
people know, one of the other things I do, I am a drummer. I've been playing drums since I was 6 years old. So, my genre of music and what I listen to and all the stuff that I just treasure in my life are the
Mhm.
musicians that inspire me. And so, Taylor Hawkins was one who I really adored. So, I got to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and me and John went when we saw Rush inducted. Well, guess who inducted Rush, one of my favorite bands? Taylor Hawkins
Mhm.
and his counterpart from the big bad, the one and only amazing band, Foo Fighters. But who other than his bandmate who was there, who was also the lead singer of and another amazing band that we all know and love. But sadly, we lost Mr. Taylor Hawkins recently, and I
Yeah,
will tell
pretty
you,
sad.
I'm 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 heartbroken because he's so young. He's so
Mhm.
young, and
Mhm.
I tell you, it just I've been looking and thinking it doesn't even seem real to me. But I say fly like an angel. With the other beautiful people that are there in heaven. I know Neil Peart, uh, who he basically inducted him into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, was there to say, "Come on, my friend, this is a beautiful place." And so, um,
Well, he was
but
an incredible musician for sure. I mean, I saw Foo Fighters in concert and they were unbelievable.
they
So
they just all have a
unbelievable.
great time on the show, and that's
Oh,
one
they
of the
really
things
do. Yeah.
that
Mhm.
that makes it beautiful.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
peace be with him, and in the
Mhm.
days going forward, if,
And
show
his
a little
family
love and
too.
respect. Exactly, kiddos. He's got baby girls, and God, I've cried enough where I think I'm dehydrated. So,
Mhm.
another thing that happened is many of you today's buzzing news the day after is the slap heard around the world,
Oh
and
gosh.
yeah. So
This is really number 2.
this is
This is big number
well,
2.
yeah, but I bring it up because people today have talked a lot about it, and there's some things kind of round and round about it. But I will, what I will say is this: so people have asked, is that I don't support violence. I don't go out looking for it. I'm not that kind of person. But people that are even in some of the
That's what he
audience,
says.
uh,
That's what he says.
well, I know, but there, people like we're going to be and Kelly are going to be together this coming weekend. And if I'm sitting somewhere and Kelly's at a table with me and somebody comes up and starts off against her, I'm telling you, people that know me said, "Oh no, here he goes." And what's the point of standing up? And I start that way. It's just it is what it is. But I look at I was taught as a little boy. You could talk about me. You could say, Keith, you're a bucket headed, no good, liar and a horse thief.
Oh
Okay,
god.
fine. Call me,
Are these
whatever you want to do.
Texans things?
Yeah, they
Are
are.
they Texans? Okay.
But don't talk about my family and the people I love because after that,
Right.
then
Well,
I
okay, I get
probably
that part.
yeah. And it was so people go, oh, it was wrong, and so listen, like I say, maybe this will change the way that these award show will sit here and say, listen, there is a no-go zone. a no-go zone. And maybe this was the show to do it. And then others say it was staged. So, I don't know. The look on Chris Rock's face was, damn, that hurt.
I don't know, but I just hope, this is my gently worded one phrase about this whole thing. I just hope that people who have that sort of platform would use that platform for a positive purpose. So to have an experience like that happen, I can see how both sides of the story would go. I can see, on purpose or totally rogue move. I can see both those options too, but I would just hope that, that night is all about attention. And I would just think that there's a whole lot more things that you could use that multitude of attention to address besides
Well, that's
what
true, and
happened.
that's
Yeah.
why a lot of people looked and said, "Wow, what a deal!"
Yeah. Okay. So that's
And then
two.
so that's two, and so one more, and so wait a second, I just, you know what? I tell you what,
I,
let's take number three and
yeah. We'll just
let's
wait till
save
the
it
end.
because we need to get on with our amazing guest. So,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, we will save that at the end of the show, but it's worth the wait. So when I tell you
Yeah.
this, you're gonna know seriously. Yes. And then what's going to become of it, you're going to be, wow, if two people got to have that I could see doing it, it'd be you two. So what a
And
cool
Jenny,
thing.
yes, Keith will be at the Gettysburg
We're
Battlefield
going to be
Bash.
there. So
We'll
I'm
both
ready to
be there
rock. Finally,
together.
we're going to be out there. So here we go, folks. Tonight we have a beautiful, I consider a love and light guest, someone who so many people have so many very kind words to say to me about having him on the show, and what a great person.
And he's
Uh,
a fellow foodie like me.
so there you go. This person is, in fact, I will tell you, I think that Bob will probably really appreciate it. Is a big kind of
He
ghost
is.
box
Bob has joined us. Yes.
kind of ghost box kind of person, and
Mm-hmm.
really known for that.
Yep.
So, folks, without further ado, I bring to the show the one, the only Mr. Greg Bargain. Woo!
Hi, Greg. Thanks for waiting so patiently as we address today's news.
Well, not at all. I mean, when you said there's an amazing guest on the show, I started wondering who else was going to be on. I was excited to see them too. So
Tonight's all you, and the two buddies next to you in the picture.
that's right. I mean, when it was on the screen and you couldn't really see the whole thing, as I looked at him like, boy, that ghost box logo looks very familiar. It takes me a while sometimes. It really does, actually.
Well,
it's
that's kind of, it's on purpose that you're framed. You can see that for the very
I think
first
your buddies
time
don't have makeup on
when
in
we
that
bring
box
you
either.
in.
No, they don't. They don't. And I don't know how many times, Kelly, you and I have shared pictures of food with
I
each
know.
other.
I think one time I may have hit your text limit because I just kept sending picture after picture because we both enjoy cooking so much. So I think, and I think you were like something witty, like, is that all? Is that really it?
Oh my gosh.
50 some pictures later. Yeah. That's all the food pictures I have.
I look at what you do, and it's just like, okay, this is amazing. And I have like all my stuff is like pictures of prime rib. I mean, it's good to make it's all meat.
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with that carnivore status. It's really fine. As long as you cook it well, it doesn't really matter. So
no, I don't cook. I cook it well in the sense that it's delicious.
That's right.
But
yes,
I don't cook it
delicious.
Well. I mean,
yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. I don't.
Well, let's see what you got.
So we're thankful you could come on. I mean, I'm anxious to actually get to like talk with you and talk with you.
Yeah, what's up with all this? Our guests have been asking, and so you have the floor. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then the rest is an evening with Mr. Greg Balkan.
Yeah, I see the numbers dwindling already on your feed. So basically, what it is, I'm kind of an ITC guy when it comes to paranormal. It's from the very beginning. Spirit Box was the way that my main focus of doing paranormal investigations, and I have now moved that along to mainly like Sunday nights. I do a thing called Ghost Box Live, which basically is an hour and a half of me taking the spirit box, reaching out to spirit, helping family members reach out to loved ones and get, some sort of positive reinforcement that things are good, that things are all right. Kind of what we talked about before the show started, like just that little bit that just helps someone know, like, is my loved one, did they pass? Or they, they obviously they passed, but did they cross over? What's going on with them? I end each program with crossing over for those who want to cross over. And that is probably one of my favorite things in the world to do, mainly because the energy, the feeling, the emotion, everything. And then I'm getting in the comments, everyone's like, I'm feeling it too. The holy cow, what's going on? It's just this really strong moment that you just can't explain. And that is so exciting to take and be a part of and help people with. And then Tuesday nights, I started a new show called Experimental Sessions. And, maybe that's a little misleading, but it's basically about, I'm not reaching out to family members. I'm reaching out to, like, one night we reached out to angels. We tried to see if angels would come through, aliens. We had in this house, we had Charlie the haunted doll that was in Portals to Hell. And so we try to do different things. This week, if I do it tomorrow night, it'll be trying to reach out to John Wilkes Booth. I'm going to play something later where I believe we reached out to Mary Todd Lincoln. So it's stuff like that I think there's a balance, and it's not going to be like Experimental Sessions is not about like, oh, someone just passed, we're going to, like, some people we may know, reach out immediately. This is I think 160 some years isn't considered too soon to reach out to somebody. So that's kind of the point of what we do. And then, of course, Sunday, which I'm hoping to get both of you on at different times, Ghost Box Radio and AM 950, where we talk about paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and the unexplained. So I think you all fit in that very nicely. So,
Well, that's amazing. I think that's like such a question I've been asked. I know from, clients would come in and be like, oh, have you ever tried to contact this particular person? And my response is always, first of all, I'm not nosy to the universe, whatever spirit wants to come through and that sort of thing. But secondly, if it's a historic figure and I'm not in their family line or have researched them, how am I able to validate the information that they're passing through? So I think that's amazing if you're setting that intention of trying to designate this person that you're reaching out to. And then hopefully when and if you receive any responses, you can correlate them with history and with your research and with things you already know, that by giving them that platform, you may have, touched on something that's more legitimate. You can connect those dots and you can validate, because that's what I say the purpose for any reading is validation.
Absolutely.
So I think that's fascinating what you're doing.
Well, and I think the point needs to be made at this point too, that we're getting voices back, we're getting answers back. We can't necessarily 100% for sure say that's Mary Todd Lincoln, that is Abraham Lincoln, because we believe we got him, and I can tell the whole story about what we got in place, some stuff. But the thing is, we are trying, and we got intelligent responses, which is something we're always looking for doing. I remember when we reached out to Abraham Lincoln and someone wrote, and I laugh at this, is not to rip on them. I laugh at it though, because it's like, no, it doesn't work this way. They're like, do you have audio recordings of his voice that, we can validate with? I was like, well, it was 1865 or 1865 that he was assassinated. So probably not. But I mean, I appreciate people wanting to take part in whatnot in it. And it's always a question of whether or not we are actually getting something or not. But if we get the intelligent responses, that's cool. To me, that's really cool.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Bob has a really good question for you. He asks, why Ghost Box and not straight up EVP? Do you really think it takes less energy, or your reasoning for that?
It's a good question, because I think we all have our different go-tos. And when I got into the paranormal, Spirit Box was what called to me. I remember very vividly getting a Spirit Box from that super, cool store that sells all the paranormal gear called Amazon, not really having any clue what's going on. Going down to the basement of the building I worked in that was built in 1916, that had the creepy basement, because of course the only place you get paranormal responses is creepy basements, right? Well, obviously learned a lot since then, I hope. But got a SB7 Spirit Box, went down there. And I turned it on. It's like, is there somebody here that wants to talk to us? The first response we got, and we're in the basement, so there was no radio interference whatsoever.
Sure.
And we got the name Nate. And then I asked, can we get a last name? And it was Lund. And so the night progressed that way, and immediately it was something that I really, really loved. But the thing is about that, in regards to Bob's question, I love the fact that I could possibly hear somebody respond to me in real time. And I know that there's ways to do real time EVPs and stuff. And I don't really think about the energy part of it, to be very honest. What I'm doing is, and I didn't realize that this was something that I was doing until a medium pointed it out to me. When she asked me, well, how do you get messages through the spirit box? And I just said, well, I sit there and I ask them to come through. I just sit there and I meditate and I ask them to come through. She's like, so like a medium. I'm like, oh, no. We don't use that word. We don't use that word because I am not a medium. And that's a word that I respect too much to use. And she's like, Greg, you're a medium. And I'm like, well, I'm actually kind of a large. No, anyway, but hold on.
There you go, Kevin. There you go. We broke a silence, Kevin. There you go.
I like that one. Greg, I gotta tell you. I gotta tell you. There are some people already that are in the chats that are really coming along and always making the show so fun. You got Wes out there. He's a consummate, very funny guy. I certainly wouldn't make fun of Mary Toddling there unless I wanted to get slapped. The phrase where let's get some applause on that.
Absolutely. There you go. I mean, that's the way it was,
There we go.
By Abe. and that's very true. And then you got Lincoln. But folks, we want to go out there. Bob asked you a great question. But folks, I want to put this out there, and I don't know if Greg knows it because I want to share it real quick with another amazing person out there that's in our chat room is Mr. Bob Burnell. Folks, we've had him on the show. What a smart man. I will tell you, I met a lot of people out there, some famous, some that, been in the field for a while. It's not that just Bob is a smart guy. He's got a very cool thing out there that he does on his show that he has, which is the Real Deal Paranormal. And it's it's a site you can go to. Other people can post. Then we can talk about some things. It's a great thing. So, there's a lot of formats out there for folks to do that. So you see all the love coming through for Bob already. Tracy, Robin. I don't, Greg, do you know him? Do you know?
I do know Bob. I know him through Facebook. You know what that's like. So I haven't.
We all know each other.
I will tell you what. I know some smart people. This Kevin. Let me see. I'm trying to figure out. Kevin Fart.
It's too late now. You have to take ownership of Kevin.
Kevin Fart. So yeah. No, but anyway, he's made some comments. But no, I don't know how intelligent that guy is. He's got a couple, I think two pieces of, maybe one piece of equipment. But Bob, I will tell you, is a sharp. Now that's a sharp guy. That's a sharp guy.
And Greg, I have a question about your spirit boxes that you use. Do you alter them in any way, or do you have like the typical spirit box that you use when you do a session like that?
Absolutely. So what I have about 40 spirit boxes.
Oh, wow.
And because I'm all about having a lot of stuff in my house for some reason. And there is a lot of SB7s in there. I will be very honest. I know a lot of people are just like, ooh, but the thing is, when I do spirit box on Facebook, I find that the SB7 works very well for people to hear. Okay. And a lot of stuff you're going to hear tonight is from the SB7, which I think works really well. Also, I have some shack hacks and whatnot. I have a couple customs too, which at some point I'll show you all if you're interested. I have my little show and tell section over here as well.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of the things that, I mean, I am not a technical person where I can build my own and augment stuff, but I am not afraid. Absolutely. Well, and you and I talked, Keith, about the old Phasma box, but I mean, just right here, Just
I
right
got
here,
nothing.
I have two.
Take it away, boys. I got nothing. I'll just sit here and.
But Keith, let me ask you this: Are you familiar with Andre in Texas? He used to do the Andre box.
I'm not personally. Not that I
Now
would
it's on
love
his
to
list,
give.
Greg. Now it's on his list.
Now it's going to be on the list, and I do have people that reach out with some
Christmas
stuff.
is
So,
coming.
yes, Christmas is coming. I'm going to have to get with Kevin about that because I think he knowing Greg, we're going to have to end up kind of going through Kevin to see, but that's a nice looking box.
This is a spirit box, and I've gotten a lot of great responses from. This is called the Andres box, and and I see Tracy saying I'm holding my cat. Once my cat comes through Linus, we can certainly hold him up too. He's more of a meow box than a spirit box.
Adorable.
But yes, so I mean, this is great. I mean, I just show this to show that I don't just use SB7s, but I do love the SB7. I have nothing against it whatsoever. And then I see someone saying the Katie Stafford boxes. We just did a live in, we did a couple at the Calumet in Pipestone, Minnesota, and we used, they're not my boxes, but Christy had something called the Mini Ink box from Katie Stafford. And we also did a live from the Octagon Mansion where we actually brought in Katie. We didn't expect to, but he was just like, they're like, oh, we can get Katie in to do do kind of a Estes session with you guys, and we brought him in. It was a lot of fun to do that.
We got an Estes
I have
question
questions
out there.
Like, I have questions, so let me go back up here. Firstly, I think the first question that they came in really quickly. So Tracy asked if you post anything on TikTok when you go on adventures.
Everything that I've been doing so far, we've been doing on Facebook, only because I don't have a TikTok account yet. But my goal with TikTok is to post, and I'll show you guys when we do them, when we play some evidence, what my videos look like as far as showing evidence. And I'm hoping to be able to just put some of the evidence out there. And we can't do lives until we have so many likes and followers, that sort of thing. But I do a show we try to do it once a month called Living Paranormal. And what that is basically a live paranormal investigation. I mean, everyone does it, but we like to think that how we have it set up, we have cameras in each room. It's not so much a roving phone or camera or something, but it's people in the rooms. So people aren't getting, motion sickness. And we are just, constantly going to where the action is, because we have people in all the rooms. Because I like to think that we try to make this stuff easier on the viewer and then make it so that they can respond and interact. And boy, we did one at the Grant House back in March 5th that we had new investigators, people that we do a class. My friend Shar and I do a class. And it's not like at the end of the day, you get a paranormal investigator, certificate, right? I mean, it's a sash.
He's out. Yeah.
But the point of it is so that people can get in there and know kind of just some really good basic ideas, right? I know. I mean,
you gotta have one of those with a smiling face if somebody says, "You are not certified."
What we're going to do, though, is we're going to create the Keith Bailey Award at these points, so that if
either that or the Kevin Hart. I'm thinking the Kevin Hart.
The Kevin
What
Hart
are the
Award.
Qualifications for that? I'm just asking for a friend. You can let me know later.
Right. I'd like to know that too, to be very honest, even though I'd be prepared, But we had people, and Kelly, this should be of interest to you. We had people who are reading the rooms that we were in, and we weren't showing the comments to the people that were investigating in rooms. So like we had one guy by the name of Austin who is off the charts talented and gifted.
Oh, wow.
And he's sitting on the bed, and someone said Austin should probably pay attention to what's in the corner of where he was at in his hotel. He does not have any way of seeing the comments. We didn't even put it up. And in a matter of a minute, all of a sudden he just turns to his left and he starts looking. I mean, he just kind of picked that up, and that was beautiful to see. That really was. I love that.
That's amazing. Yeah. So Tracy, make sure you check out at the end. Greg can share all his social media links so you can check it out. And Rob and I were on the same wavelength with question about altering spirit boxes. So you did kind of address hers already. Tracy had a follow-up question. She said, do you use the boxes according to the age or type of spirits that you're trying to attract?
It's interesting. So right here, I'm holding my very first piece of paranormal equipment. This is the spirit box that I used when I first started well over a decade ago.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This feels like an extension of my arm. This is something that I feel I am connected to. It's just, this is not just a piece of equipment. This is, like Paul McCartney always had the Hofner bass. And this is my Hofner bass. And I just, it's not working as well as it used to. So I have another. And the SB7s, there's 4 generations of the SB7. This is the first generation, which I think works the best, in my personal opinion. So I went and scoured eBay and I bought all of them up. And of course we spend stupid money on stuff.
Yes.
So I mean,
of course.
That's where they went, huh?
Yeah.
That's where they went.
Wes Coleman's got one for us, folks. Here we go. He's asking about, hey, Greg, what is your opinion of the Estes method in correlation with your ghost box? That's a rock star question. What do you think?
It really is. And, I've done it a number of times where people have said that they thought it worked out really well for what they're asking and whatnot. I am personally still on the fence about it a little bit. I've heard a lot of great I did one on a live with somebody with Nick Sarlo and Greg Koss. And what was really interesting, Greg Koss and I were both on blindfolded and doing it from our respective locations. And Nick Sarlo had some equipment set up next to him and he wasn't doing it at all. The REM pod that he had with him went off and only the green light went off. And then Greg Koss was like, that's a green light. That's what he said. Or that's green. He said, that's green. So that's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting stuff. I don't think I had too much to add to it. I think there's something there. I know that Char Savoy, who is a medium and a paranormal investigator I work with quite a bit, she's had a great deal of luck with it at the Villisca Axe Murder House. And there's some really cool things that she's done there that really had been like, obviously what we do, right? When we do this stuff is thinking out of the box, trying to figure out ways to talk to spirit so that they're not just getting questions like, how did you die? Are you happy being dead? All that, BS.
Yeah.
So
give us a sign of your presence.
Right. Exactly. What was the president when you died? I mean, it's just, like try to come up, especially at a public place like Villisca, you got to come up with something that gets spirits to be interested in what you're talking about, because it's so, they get questions every night and it's the same stuff. So yeah, it just, it is crazy.
And
Tracy's asking a good question.
Well, and a quick aside about the Estes method, for those of you who tuned in prior with another guest, we did talk about what it is, but it's communication with spirit, using audio, sometimes using an ovulus too, but having your eyes and or only headphones on, but having your eyes covered, and relaying what comes through, with one person asking questions and the other hopefully getting some answers that are relevant. But from an energy perspective, for those in the chat or watching, from an energy perspective, if you are doing a method like that, and that's not the only one, but if you're doing a method like that, make sure that you look out for your teammates. Make sure that you give them breaks. A method like that, somebody can get really involved and wrapped up in the energy without consciously knowing it because of the questions being asked, and can still have, if they have sensitivities, can still exhibit, symptoms of some sort. So just make sure that, if you want to try something like that, make sure you go to an investigation where there are people who know how to do that, so that you can kind of learn that before you just throw yourself or your teammates into it.
Which is always the number one thing when you investigate anywhere, right? If for anything you're doing, that there needs to be. I mean, I know a lot of people like to try to do the alone thing, and that, who am I to say what works and what doesn't work? But as far as safety is concerned, you got to do that. Now, there was a time we were doing a live and they wanted me to do an Estes session, and I didn't have my my black eye thing that covers my eyes and stuff, and then someone brought one of theirs, and it was a pink frilly one that their wife uses when she sleeps and not asleep.
Oh,
and
my.
So let's just say that we didn't do an Estes session that night.
No.
That was too distracting. That was too distracting.
No. Nothing. It's nothing more than just obviously, it's just it just didn't work. So sometimes you just can't. Sometimes the equipment doesn't match the needs, I guess.
Right.
Yeah. No.
Sure. Yeah. So Tracy asks, do any of the spirits express that they are lonely or miss their families?
Some, we had, and I hope this isn't too long of an answer. It's probably going to be a little bit longer story, but I'll try to keep it quick if that's all right.
No, you're not. Go ahead, buddy.
There was at a hotel that is well known. It's been on a lot of shows. I'm not going to name it because they asked not to have it named, which I think is a shame because this is a very interesting situation that we ran into. We were there on a Friday night, and I was doing a spirit box session. I was using the Andres box as it happens, and we got the name Lisa come through the box, and Lisa, and the words that were coming through, Lisa, so angry Sunday, Lisa, angry Sunday, all the time, and we're like, what is this? And there was a medium we know in Arizona named Lisa, and she called, and we thought maybe it's about her. So we just kind of like, okay, well, we don't know what's going on, whatever. The next night, Saturday night, through a different spirit box in the basement of this hotel, we got Lisa, angry Sunday, Lisa, angry Sunday, just over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And it was like, all right, I don't know what's going on, but Lisa, can you come through? Or we didn't know what we're asking for.
Sure.
That night, it was just like I thought I was going to go to bed. I was in the bar at the hotel, and I'm like, maybe I'll just go to bed. But something told me to stay awake, and so I stayed awake, and we stayed till closing time, and we went out to the lobby area, and a woman who worked there that we knew very well, you could hear her starting to cry. She started to get really upset, and she comes out, and she just says, "My God." One of the women who work there, she's only like 16. She's just helping out in the kitchen. They just found her mom dead. Her mom just died. And we're just like, holy cow. And my friend Ryan just said, what was her name? And they said it was Lisa. And we looked at the clock. It's Sunday. And so that may not be necessarily someone who said they're missing, but I figure it's the same way. It was like some kind of like, not even a warning. I mean, I don't want to call it that because I don't know what it is, but it was something that I've never run into since, where it's some sort of future sort of premonition of what was going to happen.
That's really, when you say that, I get almost like a chills because, I think there's things in the spirit world that they are just really not like allowed
Yeah.
to give, like, lottery numbers, or they can't talk about, hey, on Friday you're going to die. They can't say, hey, guess what? But I think that they give us the little breadcrumbs along the way.
Yes.
And then as we pick up on that, we're like, oh, gee whiz, you know what? Probably. And I have talked with Kelly about this because the older I get and the more that I seem to become involved in the paranormal in the sense of what this show's about tonight, I get more and more signs. It's like, okay, you get to see something else in another door. And then I get, guess what? Then I start to almost see faces. And
Yes.
they're like, what they've been saying, and I even told Kelly is, as they say, just do not stop believing. You have to keep believing. Like Keith, it's like there's something they wouldn't say, but it's don't stop. But you have to keep believing. And I told Kelly that was the second time that I felt as if in some very strange way that I like left my body. I know when I was 13
Sure.
I did, but this was like, oh no, I guess I died because I was somewhere so real that it was like I could see everything so beautiful, everything was perfect. They're like, "Hi Keith, hey Keith." And then I thought, well, I'm here. I must have, bought it in my sleep. And then next thing you know, it's the handoff between a female angel back with this male angel, and it's like, okay, we'll go tell them. You have to go tell them that it's real again. And then I come back and I'm like, okay, where are we going? And then I wake up with Petey, my dog, like, Daddy, scratching me, pushing his paws. And I says, okay, I didn't die. But I've started realizing that I think that they do give us little hints and clues. And maybe that's even about heaven or the other side, or that, hey, for the believers, there's this. And for the non believers, well, guess what? you're going to get to see it one way or another, and whether you get to stay or you have to go from that beautiful place, that's going to be on you. And I think that's why they're trying to prepare us for all the good, like Kelly type, people that are beautiful, angelic, and spread the word, and the ones that are so mean and hateful and dark.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, you don't have to do anything, nothing required, just be mean, we got a place for you.
Well, I think sometimes it's a beautiful heads up, not necessarily in a situation that you are involved in. This is from my experience with spirit and a reading perspective. Sometimes it's that beautiful heads up about it, so that, like you all found out when you were in a public location, you all, had to then interact with the rest of your group. And it kind of gives you just enough. It's kind of like a deja vu experience where it gives you just enough that it trips those stress signals in your brain, so that when you actually find out and you make that validation, it feels as if you've already known because you had that little trip. It's that little, just lights it up for you a little early. And it doesn't necessarily mean that, you obviously didn't cause it. There's no way for you to do that. But it's just also, I think sometimes it comes up if you're with people who lead with emotion. So if you were with some people, if you were out and you had a couple drinks, chances are everyone's a little more emotional. If you have particular emotional people in your group, that finding out that information may have completely destroyed their evening, whether or not they knew that person. I think sometimes those beautiful little connections or heads up, whether it's in a reading or in an example like this, can really make that validation ahead of time and then allow you to more gracefully find that news out and respond more appropriately, at least from my experience with spirit. But now I have to stop yapping because there's a ton of questions for you.
Oh, so. Yeah, there's so many that are there.
And may I say real fast, to Keith's note about faith and whatnot and what you're doing. I had a question recently from somebody who said to me, how do you know that you are actually crossing people over? How do you know that you are actually doing something that, they want? Or, how do you know that, all these questions, which are good questions, and you should ask questions. You should always ask questions. But my response was, and I didn't really even realize I said it until it came out, is like, if I don't believe, it's not going to happen. If I don't believe, then the whole game is up, because my belief in that I'm doing it right and that I am actually making a difference and helping somebody means that it's actually happening. If I don't believe for a second, then it's not happening.
And intention is everything, as
Absolutely.
we said before too. Kevin he's reeling us back in right now. He asks if you feel that one particular spirit box works best for you.
I'm going to be honest, and I know that it's not going to be one that a lot of people would agree with, because everyone's making spirit boxes these days. Everybody is doing something that that is really cool and interesting and foreign in the field. But I do like my SB7, and I know that I get a lot of people who ask me, well, I want to use a spirit box. What's the first spirit box that I should use? And the SB7, I always say SB7 because it's inexpensive relatively, and this will help you if you don't like using spirit box, because it's not for everybody. Then you haven't put a lot of money into like some sort of like custom built or a shack or whatever. So that's my opinion. But I get a lot of really cool things that come through the SB7. And when we're doing the Ghost Box Live on Sundays and Tuesdays, it's really fun to hear all of those wonderful responses through there. It's very easy for me because you have that white noise, which is really annoying. But for me, the responses just kind of glide over the top of those white noises, and that to me signals to me that we're getting a response.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Kevin has his follow-up question too. How often do you conduct these sessions inside your home?
And that's a hot topic, isn't it? There's a lot of people will tell you don't do it. Don't do any sort of investigation in your home. I don't hold that. I don't hold that belief the same way. And where I come from, if you watch Ghost Box Live, if you watch experimental sessions, you're going to see the same background. And the reason why I did that was because I want to practice. I think you have to practice to be able to get your thing. I start each session with protection. For those of you who want to take it, you don't have to take it. I end it with closing the circle. I've been doing this for 7 years, doing Facebook Lives, doing it. And I've had people say to me, I've had visions of a demon behind you, and they put their hands on your heart, and that's where my vision ends. I had people tell me that you are causing a lot. You are going. This isn't going to end well for you. But this is my calling. Kelly, do you do readings? Do you do them in your home? I don't look at it, and personally, I don't look at it any different myself.
Yeah, I have a set office space. Like I have in my past location, I had a separate floor of my home that was truly my office. And I'm the same way with, preparations for clients. You have an opening and continual protections and closing. And, you can still have people that want to relay thereafter. But by setting that intention and that time, it doesn't happen very often if you're doing that, kind of with that intention. And, I've read my whole life, so I totally get what you're saying. You kind of have this ritual that you do and it's worked for you, most certainly.
Look what Bob's got there. Bob's got
Kevin. If you need Keith to supervise your visits, Kevin, he can do it.
I mean, apart from the demons, it's great. Apart from the blood dripping from my walls, I don't think there's really been a problem.
I thought maybe you just had your Halloween decor up all year long. Well, a lot of us do.
Because of what Bob has there, that's one of the reasons that it's kind of brought up. And it's got, I had problems using a spirit box at my apartment. I woke up in the middle of the night, someone banging at my front door, went to the front door, and then found out that there was no one there. Scared the hell out of me. I know it was connected to my playing around with the SB7. I've had other people say that. I guess it's location when it comes to that. You've had success, Greg. You've had this and done it and kind of had a ritual. And then Bob did it, kind of talking, hey, what's up? They were like, hey, come on over, guys. Bob's got the door open. And then what came through at that moment was not happy fries with a Happy Meal and a little chocolate shake.
Well, and I know that Greg has said he has a variety of spirit boxes. And one thing I always say, maybe Bob, maybe you do this too, but one thing when teams ask for my assistance, I'll say, when was the last time you cleansed your equipment? Equipment can carry that energy over too. So to have, something like that, maybe it's just time for some routine cleansing before your next session.
And I have to say, and this is not, I got to be careful here because I'm never going to be one to say that my experiences is different than, say, Bob's, for example. But there's one thing that I'm really good at is shutting down rooms energetically. I'm shutting down my house. I'm allowing things to come in and go out on my rules, on no one else's rules. And I'm careful to say that because I'm not trying to say Bob is not doing that. But I'm just telling you my experiences of why I feel like I can do this, because I am definitely, I literally imagine steel walls coming up in the house. And then when I'm ready for them, I lower them. Can I share? And I have a recording, if I may.
Let's do some records on this deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you see Robin's question first there, Greg?
Why are you on this show? Is that the question I'm looking at?
No. Have you communicated with extraterrestrials or other beings through your
absolutely. And we've done that a couple times. And once again, as we say, I can't validate that is ET that we're talking to, but it's certainly, we were getting stuff on the box that were noises I've never heard come from the box before, that they were squealing, that there was communication noises. And then I know Greg Koss was also trying to do the same thing. And he was getting the same code when he was trying to do it that I was. So that's really interesting. And I absolutely love that, because that's that idiosyncrasy that actually makes you think, well, maybe there is something to it then.
Absolutely. So I'm going to share the screen and I'm going to take the rest of us out, but they can still hear you. Oh, I think you have to click it again there, Greg.
Yep. I took off the one that I had there and I'm looking at the wrong. Okay. So let's see what I need to do here. I'm still looking at the wrong. We did this fine before the show started. Now that I'm doing it, I'm ruining our show.
We need some claps. Let's get some claps in there.
Let's
get some claps in there.
Let me, because this is why I wanted to share this, because we talked about, Bob talked about how he was using the spirit box and something was bothering him afterwards. This is very much the same thing. So there was a point about 3 years ago now that, smart Greg over here thought, you know what I need? I need a Ouija board. I don't have one of those. I need one of those. So, the cheapskate that I am, I ended up getting the, Hasbro Ouija board. had it sent to me. I sit on this table that I'm at right now. I put it out there. I put the planchette down and I put my hands there and I start asking questions and absolutely nothing happens. It is a complete bust. And I'm like, okay, so be it. What ended up happening the next day, I'm at work back in the days I worked, and I was at my workstation with my cube mate sitting next to me, and the phone rings. My phone rings, and up on the phone it says the phone number that comes through is 952-666, and then there's 4 other numbers. And I looked at her and I just jokingly said, well, I ain't answering that. It left a voicemail message. And I'm going to play that message. Now, just know before I play the message that I called, after I heard the message, I called that number back and it did not exist. This is one of the most interesting pieces of, dare we call it, evidence I've ever picked up. So let's just play it. Now, I subtitle all my stuff. I know in a perfect world, people want to hear it for themselves, whatever, but we don't have 6 hours for all the stuff I want to play. So here is that voicemail message that I still have to this day.
Okay. Now I'm going to take us out so everyone can see your screen, but everyone can still hear our audio. Okay.
Okay.
How dare you?
I'm going to play it again.
How dare you?
So with that, it's like, well, it's maybe a prank call or something, but what on earth, what are the coincidences of that happening? I call this person back and you cannot reach that number.
And you had both of those voices in the audio?
That was just one voicemail right there.
Oh, okay.
That was one voicemail. And, I don't even know. We don't even know, like, what did she say? How dare you? It could either be let me out again or let me out of here.
Yeah, I heard let me out of that.
Yeah.
Of that. Mm-hmm. Wow. And you called it back.
So
I had to.
Was there a way to trace through the phone company? Did you even do the research to say, look, I know this is, but I got this call from this number and even a voice mail, and what do you think? I'm just trying to erase
Absolutely.
all the.
And I did. I absolutely did. And what we got was, we don't know what that is. Maybe, the whole thing of maybe cross wires, maybe this, maybe that.
Sure.
And, I just was like, well, that's really interesting. And everyone I played it to at work were freaked out. Here I am like, cool. It's just like.
And you're like, well, I have to go home and then I'll try to give them a call back and then we'll see if anyone's there. And,
it's like,
you've already planned out your evening.
Right. You think this is bad? Come to my house. I mean, it's
right,
it's just really an interesting, unique piece, I thought, that I really liked.
Tracy.
And that was really, because Bob is like, I prefer EVPs. And it's like, EVPs are amazing. When we did our live from the Calumet on Saturday, we got a really good EVP of one of our members that were on the broadcast. Her name, Kim, came through very loud and clear. I'm going to be very honest. I don't get EVPs myself. That wasn't me that got that one. So I'm actually in great awe of people who are able to get EVPs because that is just something I rarely get. And when I do, they're pretty decent, but they're not as often as others. Do you want to hear anything else?
Yeah, let's go. That was
Sure.
because you got a lot of great responses.
Yeah.
There's a fellow right there. Got this Flip's in the house. Nice. Hey, Flip.
Flip.
That was some stuff.
Flip.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only. Give it up for Mr. Flip Sparrow.
What a shame! What a shame there isn't a fart button on this thing, right?
Is there? Or was that must have been Kevin Hart? Maybe Kevin Hart came through the radio through the show. Yeah, Kevin, was that you? Let's see if that was you. I thought I heard you.
I want we talked about how.
Mrs. Lincoln,
hold on, Mrs. Lincoln. My goodness. She's all ready to go.
She was ready.
You
Yeah.
wait till I'm ready, Mrs. Lincoln.
Whoa.
So
Whoa.
one night, either of you seen the documentary on Discovery Plus about the last photo of Lincoln, which was what is, possibly him actually after he passed in the bed that he was brought to after leaving Ford's Theater. It's a very interesting and hotly contested theory of whether or not this picture is real or not, and really got me interested. So one night before Ghost Box Live, I'm sitting here and I have over to my right a table set up, which once again, I have a Ouija board on it just because I like to have it. It's a 100-year-old Ouija board, but it's bound. It's fine, but I have equipment on it. And I had my flashlight on and I said, President Lincoln, if you're able to come through tonight, this is before the show, would you please do so? There's going to be people here watching. They'd love to hear your voice. I'm not here to exploit you. Just want to hear your voice. And the flashlight went on. And I thought, well, that's, to me, that works very well. That seems to me he's interested. And then I said, would you mind if I also reach out to your wife, Mary Todd Lincoln? And the flashlight went off again for me. So I decided to do so. And the show starts and I ask for President Lincoln, and we get a male voice that comes through. That's very that's very profound, answering my question, because I put the photo of his last photo on the screen. I said, President Lincoln, is this you? And we got, yes, it is. And the chat started going alive, just going crazy. And so we tried to ask him a couple other questions, didn't get much else. Then I said, well, I want to talk to Mrs. Lincoln. And Mrs. Lincoln, and the question I want to ask, and you're going to hear the recording and I mess it up because I'm getting nervous, actually. Getting nervous that I got possibly President Lincoln. And you could hear my voice going, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And I ask, the question I'm supposed to ask is, Mrs. Lincoln, when you're alive, you reached out to spirits on a regular basis. Now that you've passed, do you talk to the living? So you're going to hear my question. It's subtitled, so you're going to hear what I believe her response. I honestly don't think that there's any question of what the response is. It's really clear, but maybe not. Maybe that's just being ego right there. So have a listen. I believe this is Mary Todd Lincoln. You're going to hear a male voice, and that's the same male voice that we associated with Lincoln himself. So take a listen. I really find this very interesting.
Mrs. Lincoln, you spent your entire life reaching out to spirits. Do you talk to other people? Do you talk to other people as a spirit, to other living people?
Talk about what?
Talk about what?
Do you mind if I play it one more time?
Yeah, go ahead.
Please, go ahead.
Mrs. Lincoln, you spent your entire life reaching out to spirits. Do you talk to other people? Do you talk to other people as a spirit, to other living people?
Talk about what?
Talk about what?
So there's that.
I heard something in there as well. I heard a little sliver of yes, I do.
Yes.
It was
yes.
I heard a yes, I do, and then you heard talk about what? Like yes, I do, but talk about what?
Yes.
What am I talking about? And if you play it back and break it down, even in that little second, you hear somebody say that a male voice or said something. I mean, in a crazy world, it sounded like Mighty Mouse or something like that. Something.
Yeah.
And then you heard, so do you talk to us? And you hear, yes, I do.
Yes.
And then it's like, we want to talk about what? So it was, I was like, wow, that's impressive.
Yes, it was. And I see some people saying, well, whoever that man was, did he say I'm out? And I can't tell you how many times when I'm in a conversation with somebody and they're just like, I'm out. So I do figure that that's all just, how they respond to Greg. So, that's how it goes.
Typical response.
You and Spirit just like, I'm out. You're ridiculous. So.
You weren't cooking that night. If you were cooking that night, they would have hung around. But unfortunately, they pieced out a lot earlier than what you expected. Right? It
was.
Happens to the best of us.
It really was. It wasn't Chicken Wing Friday, so you're not.
I know. See, there you go.
Great. Yeah.
Folks,
that's
Greg is a
amazing.
chef, and people didn't know. Which him and Kelly share some really cool.
I mean, I'm
cooking,
telling you,
fooding.
we never
And
go
Greg, are
hungry.
you going to be in the Gettysburg area this weekend? How far
Not
are you
this-
from Gettysburg?
I'm about 16 hours from Gettysburg.
Okay,
but,
well,
Just
count that
just
out.
a short little trip.
Nah, that's a square.
but I'm thinking I'm going to the Bash though in July.
Yeah, let's
Good.
do the bash.
Definitely come
It's
to
going to be
Bash.
fun. There's
Yeah.
going to be lots of people. It's always a fun
Mhm.
reunion. I will tell you, folks, this hour has blown by.
Yeah, I'll
Blown
say.
by. This was just the opening. We're going to have you back, Greg. I'm telling you
Oh, for
right
sure.
now.
Yeah.
But let's figure out a way how folks can get a hold of. Then now all these people in the chat room who are going to be, if they're not already your friends, they will be. How do they get a hold of you? How do they do the Greg Balkan? How do they do that?
So probably the easiest, to be honest. I have a number of pages, but I post everything onto my own personal profile. So feel free to send me a friend request to Greg Bakun, or you could follow, but I prefer to be a friend with somebody. But I also have MN Ghostbox is the name of the site that for my paranormal stuff. MN Ghostbox. Also started with Christy. We started a network called Free Spirited Network that we're going to have a lot of cool stuff, content on there. So just a lot of stuff but I post everything onto my profile page that I do. And lately we've been doing a lot of work and doing a lot of fun stuff. So please, if you liked any of this, then please check it out.
Moving us all around.
What a deal.
Kevin's now banned from every future show. Kevin, you've been blacklisted.
So Kevin Hart, Greg, do you know Kevin Hart?
I think we're friends on Facebook. I don't know him personally.
He is the man, the myth. Well, he is the man, the myth, the legend. He's known world throughout. He's an international traveler. He has investigated
sarcasm in every scene.
I'm trying to think. I don't think there's any place he hadn't. No, the guy is he's been on some shows on TV, some good stuff. He's a friend of mine. If we didn't make fun of each other, something would be wrong. But
do make sure that you follow Greg on social media, because I did notice how viewer friendly
all the people
broadcasts are. So make sure that you do check those out, because it's not as much seasickness as some of us who try.
So yeah, and so what a fun show! All the people that are in the chat are all just loving it. What a cool thing! It was, and I enjoyed the heck. And we didn't even get into all the ones you wanted to share. There's going to be more. So
yeah, I'd love to.
Maybe we can have. And I'll tell you what would be fun. Maybe we'll talk, but we'll get another person on the show and just have a big, huge
dump.
ghost box kind of thing. Have somebody out there that's a ghost box person. We'll reach out there and do that.
But you know what, Keith, you can share now our third thing, because that's where we met Greg. So you can share thing number 3. He doesn't have to go backstage for this. He can hear it because.
So I just want to reach out. There are so many people in the chat tonight giving such kind, beautiful comments.
Kevin, I'm still talking.
I know. And listen, I'll tell you, for Greg doing what he does, Kelly, myself, I mean, we're all out there busting at the chops Monday.
Oh, he's freezing out.
Friday as well, doing what we do going. Okay. But we help make Mondays fun again. So that's why it's so cool to get to do this. But give it up for Greg. And if you can hang out in the green room backstage,
he doesn't have to. That's what I said. He can hear this thing because that's where we met him.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So he can stay.
Okay, you get to stay. Cool. So you're gonna do. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think I did promise at the first of the show. I mentioned about something.
Yeah.
So this is number 3. Me and Kelly and Greg was there for the last year. We will be a part of the Warren's Paracon 2022. We will be having the guest on this show. And folks, we have had some rock stars. We have had peeps that you're like, man, how cool. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to just tell you right now, I'm excited. I'm like getting giddy. Folks, some of the people we are going to have on the show. I'm just telling you, you're gonna totally enjoy it because it's some of the folks will be, can't you get this person on the show? Can't you get that person? Well, guess what? They're going to be at the show and they're going to get to be on this show. So what I love about this is it seems like every day we get more and more happy news, and we pay that love forward to each and every one of you out there who listen to the show, and we try to do great things for. So
and
we are.
keep Greg there too, because Keith
Yes,
and I'll be there.
Greg's going to be there. Our
Greg's gonna
table
be
is
there.
like a speak. I mean, we just talk. Everybody comes up and hey, everybody. It is the
And
table.
slight change, bigger and better venue at the Mohegan Sun Casino in Connecticut. The Halloween weekend again this year.
When we went last year, it was like a rock concert. It was like a rock concert out the door. There were thousands of people there, and it's stoked to be even bigger this year. So
yeah, it was a good time for sure.
Come rock out and have a blast because we're going to be having all the folks there. So I am pumped like a rock star to get to be there. So like freaking cool.
Just saying.
So
Kevin, you better show your face this year at that event.
Kevin, really, this Kevin Hart guy, he's not showing up. I'd like to see him there. We got some.
He will accept all the compliments. He says.
I got a new piece of equipment that Kevin's going to go. You're such a loser. Yeah, but I'll tell him about it, folks. I will just say
thanks everybody.
We really love the fact that you love the show, and some amazing things are coming. So with that, Kelly. Closing love and thoughts.
I don't really want to, but I guess we have to. You guys are an hour. I'm an hour later than you guys. I'm just saying good night to everyone. That's all. I'm just
okay. Well, me and Kelly are going to be in the Gettysburg area this weekend.
Yes, we're going to be together this weekend.
We're going to be together.
I cannot guarantee that we will not be live here on our Facebook and YouTube pages. There may or may not be debauchery. There's no guarantees of anything at this point. So
it's going to be a rock concert. So if you get a chance, if you're in the Gettysburg hemisphere somewhere, want to jump in there, come and hang out. We are. You think
you don't want to get a 16-hour drive, Greg? You can join us.
Well, maybe. Who knows? Well, I can move some stuff around. I'm sure.
All right, that sounds.
Thank you, Bob, for enjoying the show, buddy. We love you too. We're always thinking about our buddy Bob, folks. I think that we'll call that a wrap.
Yep. And good night, everybody.
Otherwise, love and light. See you in 2 weeks.
We'll be back in 2 weeks.